Hello there, I'm Fancy, and in this tutorial I will show you how to get thousands and thousands of free 3D models to your project. I'm talking about a new plugin that lets you directly import free 3D models from Sketchfab right into your project. On the screen you can already see how it looks like, so let's not waste your time and get to it. Alright, let's get started. You will have to download the plugin from the GitHub, so I will leave you a link in the description. There are also instructions in case that something didn't make sense, but I will of course show you how everything works. So let's download the version for 4.25. Click on that and you will have to download zip file. Oh, actually no, Sketchfab, sorry. We don't want to download source code. So once you do download it, you have to install it. And there are two ways you can do that. You can install it right in the engine, which is what I will do. So I will click on my folder UE 4.25. That's where you have downloaded your Unreal Engine. And click on Engine, Plugins, and put that guy right here. I created just simple third-person example project so we can test it in something. So let's go into Edit and find here Plugins. And it actually should be enabled by default. And it's not in installed plugins, it will be probably in built-in. So let's try to find here Sketchfab, and look at that. We have him here and I have already enabled it. So in case that you don't have it, you have to click here, enable it, and restart the project. Alright, once you have that done, let's click on Window, and you should have here new columns for Asset Browser and Exporter. Exporter is if you just want to export something from Unreal Engine to Sketchfab, which can be actually quite useful, but I think that you have to have pro accounts for that. So let's click on Asset Browser because that's what we are here for. And look at that, we already have access to plenty of really cool models. But to download it, or actually do anything almost, you have to log in. So make sure that you are logged in your Sketchfab account. If you don't have account, I will also leave you a link in the description for Sketchfab so you can register it. It's free. Everything you will see me doing, you can do with your free account. Alright, now I'm logged in, so I can download any of these models as I please. But let's go through some of the settings first. Pretty important for you is probably disabling this stuffed picked. If you have it enabled, it means that it will show you only models that were handpicked by staff of the Sketchfab, which means that you will see very high quality model, but you will also see very little of them. So let's disable that. I want to see all the free models that I can use. Also pretty important is that all the models that you can see here are already usable for your commercial game. You will also see it with each of the model, but all of the models that you have here should be usable for commercial game. So let's try to find something specific. Let's try to find gun. That's a bit of a traditional thing to find for a game, I suppose. And let's say that I want to filter it a little bit, so I will look into face count and set and I have sort of a low poly game. Well, it's not really low poly, but let's say that I want to have up to 10,000 triangles. So look at that. I have here some of the models that should be usable. And I'm looking for this mounted machine gun. Look at that. What you can already do is to click on View on Sketchfab. It will load it for you and you can look at it in 3D as you would in regular Sketchfab. So that's cool, but that's not what we are doing here. The other important thing is of course vertex count and face count, and you can see this is a really low poly. It has only 450 vertexes, which is very low. That would be very good for a low poly game. Also make sure to always notice license information, and in this case it's under Creative Commons attribution, which means that you can use it for commercial game. It's written right here, but you must make sure that you credit the authors. So it's always a good idea to note somewhere on the side what models you are using so you can credit that. Otherwise you can get in a bit of a trouble. But you can use it for commercial game, which is cool. So let's download it. So now only thing I have to do is to take this model and put it right here. Every time you try to import it, it will also ask you to confirm that you agree with licenses and blah blah blah. That's very important actually. It's really good that they are doing that. So let's minimize this thing and look at that. Now I can just take that guy and put him right here. And what you could have already seen that it doesn't have collisions. So let's quickly create some of them. So click on simple collisions, nothing's happening. So in case you don't have it is here, let's click on collisions, auto convex collisions, and quickly create here something. And here we go, we have some simple collisions. Let's save that guy. And I would say that it looks pretty good. Maybe I would do something with the materials. So let's look at that, and it has just simple base color texture. And tripod has something as well. So let's say that I would like to add some oh, here we have metallic factory. I just didn't see that. So what you can do, of course, is to increase that metallic factor. A lot of times it will have applied here already materials and textures, but it won't really have parameters correct, or maybe not how you imagine it, so you can just work with them. It's really cool that they are setting it with parameters already. So let's set that metallic to 0.6 on both of these and see what it does. Alright, let it compile, and in the meantime I will look for some more models. And I really like what I am finding. You can also change sort by. Let's set it to most viewed. I want to see most popular models, and it's school. Not sure if that's good or bad thing. Well, it says something about us humans, I suppose. But let's import here this Mazda. Oh, that's 100k triangles. But you know what, that should be fine. And I will of course want to structure it a little bit, so let's put here new folder, Mazda. And I will also show you how you can quickly edit those models, because sometimes, yes, it's again, a commercial use is allowed, author must be credited, blah blah blah, important. But what I was saying, that sometimes you download the model with some parts of the mesh that you don't necessarily want. So I will show you how you can quickly edit it with the help of Blender, because it's actually much faster to do that by quickly importing and exporting from Blender than doing it in Unreal Engine. Alright, and you can see that this has thousands and thousands of shaders, which I didn't necessarily want, but hey, what can you do? Let's find here only mesh, so you can click on filters and switch it to only static mesh and skeletal mesh. Let's do both. Alright, let's find our Mazda. And that's exactly what I was talking about. You can see that it's rotated in a really weird way, and it also has this thing, which I definitely don't want. So what I will simply do, and I shouldn't have used 1000 vertex model, but doesn't matter, it will work. Let's use just general project, delete everything. And what I will do is to right click on my Mazda, and let's try to quickly export it. So right click, asset action, export, and just put it somewhere you will know, you will find it. And when I exported it, it asked me right on this right corner, I'm sorry, you can probably see it through the camera, but it asked me if I want to create new source file, which I did, which means that I now have here 3 models, which means that I have 2 models. But the important thing is that with this original one, I can't import it, but with this new one, I of course can do that. So that's what I will do. First of all, let's import it into Blender, so FBX. So what I will do is to, of course, go in edit mode, select everything I don't like. You can see that it wasn't connected, so I was pressing just Ctrl+ to load everything. And let's just delete that, and I want to delete vertices, of course. And now let's also select all this, because I want to have only that car. It was a really great idea using something with 100k vertices. Congratulations, Fancier, what a genius. Alright, and now what I also want to do is to sort of rotate it. Let's click on Ctrl A and apply rotation, so we will end up with 0, 0, 0s, and scale let's leave onto 0.010. You know what how it is, if Unreal Engine Blender, its scale is always a bit of a mess. So let's now we can take it, export FBX, and let's export it to the same file you have imported it from. Only selected objects and export FBX. Alright, now quickly back into Unreal Engine. And here we have our Mazda. Let's right click and import. That should do the trick. And look at that, I can open my Mazda. And here we go, we have clear model that you can use for anything you want. And it also should have already applied collisions. Yeah, that's kind of collisions I would expect with 100k triangles model, vertices model. And if we look at that, it looks pretty fine. And on Sketchfab there is of course thousands and thousands of models that you can use. Just don't forget to always credit the author. Alright, I hope that you learned something. I'm pretty sure that I am going to be using this plugin, so I hope that you will find a use for it too. And if you are interested on some games or projects I'm working on, somewhere here is my Instagram. I post there pretty much daily, so you can check out some of the stuff that I do there. And of course, huge thanks to everyone on Patreon. It would be incredibly hard to do this without you. And that's about it. Sarfancy out.